Good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy Lewis, and welcome back to the Lewis Basketball Network. Welcome back to my channel, man. I am back with another one, with another banger, with yet another video. Let's get right into it, guys. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cross platforms here. We're gonna do first things first, and then we're gonna do first take, and then possibly later, we're going to, do another video on Russell Westbrook. But that's going to be another video, and this is going to be from Kendrick Perkins. Got to show a lot of respect to the brother, and I'm going to get his thoughts on, the situation with Oklahoma City and on the comments that Sam Presti made. But this video is going to be on, like I said, cross platforms, first things first and first take. We're going to get their reactions to basically on game one and what to expect for game two. So Chris Carter pretty much owned Nick Wright in this discussion. I didn't see a lot of it, but he was speaking facts. So what they're going to do is, they're pretty much going to talk about it, and I'm pretty much going to chime in and give my thoughts on what these guys are saying. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, grab some snacks and enjoy the video. Appreciate you guys for always taking the time to watch, man. And let me know what you guys think in the comment section as always, man. All right, let's begin.
Ready to break through your allergies? People everywhere are reaching.
Always got to love advertisements at the start of a video, man. Skip ad, let's begin.
It was amazing. This is sponsored by Gillette, the best a man can get.
Everyone, and
Great way to start the
things
show.
first. That was a pen that just got thrown across the studio because that's how we do things on Tuesday mornings here at FS1. Chris Carter, Nick
Three
Wright,
morons.
Jenna Wolf, big show today.
Three morons.
Steve Kerr taking a shot at James Harden.
Hey everybody, look, it's CC. I never let people talk and interrupt everybody, and I know everybody Carter. And it's Nick Squidward. I love LeBron James, and he's better than every single player compared to him, past or present. Wrong. And Jenna, the moderator who just agrees with everything that Nick says and is apparently such a KD hater, Wolf. But we got to see what they're going to say.
But why? Giannis and the Bucks look to even up the series against the Celtics.
Well, what up, Hall of Famer Chris Carter?
Oh, apologies.
No. I know the look in his face.
Wow, Chris had to let it be known that he's the Hall of Famer. Like, like they don't say that every day on the damn show. Damn, Chris, give it a break, bro. Everybody knows you're a Hall of Famer.
That was
Like, you forgot his honorific, Ms. Wolf.
my bad. 100%. What? We got to start with last night's action. For me, for Nick.
You're on
and for
probation after
Hall of
last night,
Famer.
see.
Sixers looking to even up their series with the Raptors.
Whoops, that's the wrong video. That was not the one I wanted to click on. This was the one. Wait, was it this one? No, I clicked the wrong video. Sorry. This is the one.
Teams just got after it and competed. But,
Oh, man. So, just have to remind
Shows
that.
the degree of difficulty of that.
Ooh.
That's a great basketball play right there. The hang time, waiting until the defender's clear, being able to get up there with the right English on the backboard, that was great. Yeah, that's one of Coach Izzo's guys. Coach Izzo taught him that right there. The hang time comes from Coach Izz, man. Oh, yeah? Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I didn't know that.
Right, I forgot Gary Harris went to Michigan State, and that was a heck of a reverse layup.
Player and hang time expert. Wish he was a football player. That was a great play.
Same game. Check out Damian Lillard's vicious step back before knocking down the three over
Wow.
who, Nick?
Nikola Jokic, but Nikola had a great game.
So, we're going to skip to the part with Steve Kerr. Here we go.
Moving on to the Rockets-Warriors series. Game one marred by referee controversy. Golden State got the win. Houston got the headlines. James Harden, in particular, complaining about missed calls down the stretch. And Warriors head coach Steve Kerr didn't flinch at the opportunity
How
to take a
ironic.
jab at
How
Harden.
ironic. And he got 14 free throws.
Hang on.
Yo, I gotta admit, Steve Kerr doing a hell of an impersonation of James Harden, man. That's funny, man. Oh boy. Man, Steve Kerr flopping in interviews, man. Amazing.
Who's that foul on? Is that a man? That was on him.
Foul on reporter.
It's disappointing because the focus should be on two teams who played extremely hard. I mean, watching the tape, both teams just got after it and competed. But we just watched the tape upstairs. You don't think there were 10 calls that we thought we got fouled? I mean, this is how it goes. And every coach.
This is why I say that both the Rockets and the Warriors are honestly they're two of the biggest complaining teams in the NBA that there is. The champions and the Rockets. You're talking about the whiny Warriors and the Houston Floppers. I mean, let's be real here. But at the same time, though, I feel like at times the Warriors, the people who complain the most on the Warriors, I mean, Draymond Green, he complains about everything. I mean, he's probably the one guy on that team more than anybody that complains. But when we talk about the Rockets, we're talking about CP3, a guy who I have immense amount of respect for. I'm losing it because he's now a James Harden follower. But that's because, you know, you can't get mad because they've adapted to what the league is. But let's be real, man. If they're adapting to what the league is doing in terms of now everybody doing this, is that real basketball or is it just manipulating the rules? It doesn't make the game fun. And people are like, well, you can say what he wants. And they're like, well, it's a skill because they're able to manipulate the referees. You know, maybe it is a skill, but I don't really consider it in terms of if that's what your game is really dependent on. But let's keep going with Steve Kerr.
And the league will tell you the same thing. You watch the tape and you go, man, that's a foul, that's a foul. It's the nature of the game. So I'm disappointed.
So before Steve continues, let me just say that in the first half, there were legit fouls on Klay Thompson. You know, so there were missed calls on that. Second half, and I got another question. The Rockets are so focused on the referees. They didn't take advantage of the 20 turnovers that the Warriors committed or put pressure on Klay and Steph Curry with their ankle injuries. You know, Steph had 5 fouls and they didn't take advantage of that. And one of those fouls, when he punched the ball out of Harden, you know, they called the phantom foul on that. And yet the Rockets got 2 more free throws than the Warriors, and the Warriors committed 3 more fouls, and James Harden still got to the line 14 times, 3 more than his regular season average of 11 free throw attempts a game. James Harden has led the league in free throw attempts in 6 of the last 7 seasons, including 5 straight years. But how ironic, he goes, well, I just want the refs to call a fair game. I just want it to be fair, man, if, you know, with the calls. You know, because then if it's like we could live with the results. You won't be able to live with it if you don't get the amount of free throw attempts. So what? Now the Rockets have to get 30, 40, 50 free throw attempts? It's ridiculous. Yo, James Harden is one of the most crying superstars I've ever met in my life in terms of watching him play. And it's like CP3 is like now adopting his style. And it's like, you're looking like a bigger clown. And this is the quote-unquote president of the Players Association. Mind you.
This has become the whole narrative when it really should be about two.
Definitely is a narrative.
Competing against each other.
All right, so Rockets GM Daryl Morey fired back, tweeting out an article of a 2016 report about Steve Kerr getting fined for complaining about refs missing.
Now, although this is true, Daryl Morey, once again, is just basically just trying to control the situation. He's controlling the narrative. So now the Rockets, what they're going to do is they're going to try to dig up evidence to say that the refs are in favor of the Warriors. And, you know, Rocket fans and Warrior haters in general are going to say, well, Warriors, the refs were 104 and the Rockets were 100 because the Rockets got robbed. In a sense, the Rockets got robbed. But once again, they focused on the refs instead of focusing on things that they really should focus on. And I'm going to say it, making adjustments. Mike D'Antoni, you need to make them.
False. It's all right there. Nick, will officiating continue to be the headline, do you think, in this series?
I hope not, and I hope the officials call the game the way they've been calling it throughout the year, at least to a degree similar to how they've been calling the landing zone throughout the year. But Steve Kerr's right, by the way. If they watch the tape, there weren't 10 missed calls that went against the Warriors. There were actually 11. According to the NBA's own data, there were 11 blown calls that hurt the Warriors. The problem is there were 17, according to the NBA's own data, that hurt the Rockets of obvious missed calls. So that's a +6 difference. That means now, officially, according to the NBA's data, in 7 of the 8 playoff games these teams have played, including 6.
So let me put this in perspective. The Warriors were missed 11 calls, right? That means that if you add 11 more free throw attempts, the Warriors would have 27 plus 11, 38 free throw attempts. You add 17 more to the Rockets would have 29 plus 17, 46. Doesn't that mean that the Rockets attempted 8 more free throws than the Warriors? Because they should get more? I don't know, man. Just saying.
Consecutive, dating back to Game 2 of last year's Western Conference Finals. The NBA's own data says the Warriors have gotten the beneficial whistle. The publicly available data says there were 3 blown calls in the final 2 minutes of that basketball game. 2 fouls on Steph Curry, which would have been his 6th and 7th foul, one of which after
6th and 7th foul. As a matter of fact, the 5th foul that he punched out with James Harden going out of bounds was bogus. That was a bogus foul. Talking about 7 fouls, man. When you know it's 6. And 6 fouls and you foul out. Oh my God, what a revisionist Nick Wright is.
bumping James Harden out of bounds, he taunted James Harden by pointing at the sideline. That would have been his 6th foul. And then his 7th foul on the one that Chris Paul ended up getting the technical and thrown out of the game on. So, I mean, listen, it is kind of a...
One of my subscribers had already pointed out what Chris Paul did to get him the technical. That was all on Chris Paul. That was not anything that they did. People are going to go back and forth with this, but I already saw the replay. That was all initiated by Chris Paul, okay? He got upset, and he got his 2nd technical, and he got thrown out with 4.4 left. Now, does he deserve to get suspended? No. A fine would be fine. Because the thing is, I don't want Chris Paul to get suspended as to be a reason that, no, well, the Rockets will find another excuse as to why Chris Paul didn't play and why they lost. Because are we going to blame it on the refs? Are we going to blame it on Chris Paul getting suspended? And remember, Austin Rivers didn't play in Game 1. So let's say Austin Rivers helps him win Game 2. They're going to say, oh, you see, we didn't win because of Austin Rivers. So wait, now it's the referees. Now it's Austin. The Rockets are trying to find any amount of excuses. And I'm telling you, if they lose this series, I just want to know what the excuse is going to be.
Amazing to me for the head coach of the Golden State Warriors, a team that employs Draymond Green, a team that in consecutive years has led the league in technicals, a team that in consecutive years has had the player who leads the league in technicals is going to say we shouldn't be complaining about the officials. But I hope officiating isn't the storyline moving forward.
It's ironic with Draymond. Yeah, I mean, I actually agree with Nick on that one. I mean, I know, but Draymond is right, though. The fact that he decided to jump 3 feet into the defender's contesting spot, that's on James Harden. Draymond is absolutely right about that. But Nick is also right in the fact that Draymond is known to complain, and he does it a lot in the game. I mean, we've already seen it in these playoffs. I'm like, dude, it's a foul, and you're here talking about it's not a foul. Come on, Draymond.
But it justifiably was the storyline of Game 1. It was one of the storylines. The problem is not with...
Take a listen.
Because everyone in the NBA complains.
Thank you.
If I have one complaint about the NBA, is the players complain too much on the court.
Exactly.
No one's committed a foul in NBA history. I don't know an NBA player that back...
I mean, if you look at the game, I mean, Klay Thompson was complaining about calls. Steph Curry was complaining about calls. Kevin Durant. Like, everybody was complaining. And I said it right now. The Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors are the 2 teams in the NBA that probably complain more than any team in the NBA when it comes to foul calls. Like CC said, everybody in the NBA complains about foul calls. So it's like, we need to get past this. What's done is done. It's over already.
When you used to, in high school and in college, when they called a foul on you, you used to have to raise your hand and be like, oh, that foul's on me, so the scorekeeper and everything be able to keep track of it. Now, they got 2 hands raised every time. Who, me? Like it, I mean, all NBA players.
Who, me? I wasn't the one that took the cookies out the cookie jar. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Oh, look, you know, he looks like he has a beard. You know, he kind of looks like, but it's not me. I didn't burn the kitchen.
Are bad. So this is just not a James Harden thing. This is not Houston Golden State. Golden State complains about the referees every single game.
That's true.
The biggest problem here is Houston going to be able to get its focus back? Because, Nick, you talked about last...
At least the one difference with the Warriors and the Rockets, the Warriors, when they don't rely on the referees, they don't focus on the referees. They just try to play, even though they tend to complain a lot. The Rockets, especially from their 2 superstars and their head coach, they depend a lot on the referees constantly.
Year's playoff.
More.
We know who the world champ was. Don't nobody care about that storyline. Oh, in 5 of the 7 games, the whistle went to the Rockets. Well, you know something? People don't care. People care about winning.
Exactly. We're talking about last year, but not focus on this series this year. Like, last year is done. See, they're just trying to control the narrative and trying to make these excuses as to say the Warriors are now a bunch of paper champions because the calls went in their favor last year in an audited Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals last year. 81 missed calls. Well, you know what? Nobody did so. So it's the referee's fault that you missed 27 straight 3-pointers because I remember that. And a lot of those, you guys even ran to the 3-point line and took them in transition. Because that's what I remember. Because I remember you guys missing all of those 3-point shots. I remember that. But they don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about it's the Warriors' fault that they lost because of the referees.
So the Rockets, they need to get off the officials and worry about what adjustments they're going to make.
Thank you. Isn't that exactly what I was talking about? That the Rockets are so focused on the referees. If they play like this the entire series, they're not going to beat Golden State. Instead of focusing on the referees, I'm going to say it again. How do you jump forward on a step back? Answer that question, ladies and gentlemen. How do you jump forward on a step back? Like P. Diddy says, the way she shakes her little ass and hips. Well, Chris Paul had his ass and hips on Klay Thompson when he tried to draw a foul in the second half on the three-point shot that he made. In the second half. And this is the president of the Players Association. I'm going to say that again.
How can I get Clinton Capella to take advantage of his size against these Warriors?
Clint Capella played 26 minutes. Why did he sit mostly the entire full quarter? One of my questions.
Those are the things going to decide this series. How can I get P.J. Tucker more shots than...
Because P.J. Tucker scored no points the entire game while Kevin Durant served him a 35-piece. And that was not Kevin Durant's best game. Oh, and when we look at game one, when we see the percentages, KD shot 11 of 25 from the field. That was 44%. Steph Curry was 5 of 12. He was 3 of 10 for three-point range. So when we do the percentages, KD shot slightly better than Steph Curry. KD at 44, Steph is at 41. And KD was only attempted 3 three-point shots and made 1 out of 3. He was 10 of 22 when he didn't attempt a 3, which is 46%. So just want to clear that up.
Shumpert and or
Daniel
House is shooting. Because last game, they shot the same number of shots. So for me, those are the things more important than worrying about the refereeing, because I believe, just like all referees, they're human, they got bosses, there will be a correction made. And I don't want them to call it like they did during the regular season. I want them to referee like they're refereeing all the other games. Right. Where guys are able to shoot three-pointers and to build the land. And I believe that will occur in tonight's game.
So that's an interesting...
But you already know what they're going to say, CC. And you make a good point. But at the same time, it's if a defender is in your landing space area, then it's going to be a foul. And with James Harden, if he was getting those calls the entire season, why take him away now? That's on the referees, because they are the ones. It's like basically continuously giving a baby or giving a toddler or giving a child what they want. And then when you don't give them what they want, they're going to complain. And you're so used to giving them what they want that you end up spoiling them. James Harden is so spoiled with the foul calls that he thinks that every time that he kicks his legs out, that he's supposed to get a foul call. Whether he has somebody land in his three-point area, in his shooting area, or even if he initiates the contact with throwing his hips out, throwing his body out, throwing his legs under him with his little jackknife scissors, he's expecting a call every single time as a shooter, shooting the basketball.
Same point. I mean, how do the players go into this game and take all that stuff out of it? How does Houston put together a game plan to beat the Warriors, irregardless of what the officiating?
When you go to shoot tonight, you can't be worrying about a guy sliding up under you.
Of course.
And if they have spent all this time, they got their front.
Well, in one sense, you kind of have to do, because of what happened with Kawhi Leonard and Zaza landing in his landing spot 2 years ago in the Western Conference Finals. Kawhi had that ankle injury. Kawhi ended up missing the entire series. He was actually available to play, but Greg Popovich decided to shut him down. And I remember how furious Greg Popovich got. And that tells you how great of a player Kawhi Leonard is when he's on the floor. The way he was impacting the game, the Warriors had a lot of problems with Kawhi when he was on the floor. And the Warriors were able to make their run when Kawhi was out of the game in that game one. And Curry led the charge in that game. But we don't know. It looks like the Spurs likely win game one. I'm not going to say they're going to win the series, but I think it was going to be more competitive. I mean, that Kawhi factor was pretty huge. It eliminated any notion that the Spurs were going to win that series. So CC, you gotta understand it from that end too, man. So let's be clear.
Office, they got their coaches. If they got their players, we're going to find out tonight. Did they make any adjustments? Because the refs will make adjustments based on the way game one was called.
And this is the worst thing for the Rockets. The fact that the Warriors didn't play great, the Rockets didn't play great neither. They still had a chance to win. And if the Warriors make adjustments and they play better in game 2, the Rockets are going to kill themselves for game 1. Because like I said, like maybe the refs, again, it looks like it was the determining factor. But focusing on the refs took your focus on other things that were more important. So find a way to get PJ Tucker involved. Find a way to get Clint Capella involved. Because remember, the Warriors don't have an interior defender. They have it in Andrew Bogut. But I'm saying when the lineups are not there, you know, have Clint Capella on that pick and roll where Andrew Bogut comes out late to try to come help and he gets easy lobs. Like, find a way to get Capella involved. So if they don't find a way and try to rely on just Gordon, CP3, and Harden, with those two relying on the calls of the referees, Houston is going to be out in 5 games, and probably I'll give them 6. Who knows? Who knows?
And to answer your question, how can they win tonight? I believe, and I think if you watch the game, I think most people believe they played well enough to win game 1. I don't think they need to make a major adjustment. Now, they need to hit open corner threes. They missed a bunch of open corner threes. Chris Paul, I think, to the thing you harped on yesterday.
From an offensive standpoint, they do have to make some major adjustments.
I guess we're going to disagree on the term major. I think it's the only major adjustments I would make is I try to get more lobs to Capella.
If Clinton Capella takes 2 shots.
Yes.
Okay,
agree.
What about PJ Tucker?
So PJ Tucker is the only shots he takes are corner threes. He's the best corner 3 shooter in the league. He's out.
Did this clown just say that PJ Tucker is the best corner 3-point shooter in the league? The best 3-point shooter in the league, arguably, is that guy in that little back wall over there right behind you, sir, who can pretty much shoot anywhere. It's so crazy that Steph Curry actually led the league in corner threes. I remember in 2016 in his MVP season. He shot 72% from corner threes that year. And in this season, Steph Curry led the league at 64%. But PJ, you see, this guy doesn't even do his research. He just randomly says PJ Tucker. This shows you how his bias, his love for LeBron and his hate for Golden State. Steph Curry led the league in 3-point percentage off the corner at 64%. Yo, what a buffoon this guy is.
For his defense and to shoot wide open corner threes in that game on Sunday afternoon, he had 3 wide open corner threes. He missed all 3. Like, PJ Tucker is not a volume shooter.
He only took 4 shots, Nick.
I am a starter. I understand it, but he will take as many open corner threes as they have.
And if they don't score buckets, if they don't balance their offense, if Chris Paul is not aggressive.
Exactly. If Chris Paul is not aggressive, if the Rockets don't find a way to get a balanced attack, like I said in game 1, the Warriors, all 5 starters scored in double figures. The Rockets only had 3. CP3 had 17, but only took 9 shots in 36 minutes. James Harden took 28 shots, 16 of the 28 from 3, and had 35 points on 14 free throws. Eric Gordon gave you 27, but was 4 of 15 from the 3-point line. They need to get more production than those 3 guys. They're not going to win with just all those 3 guys going off, especially if the Warriors are going to have more players in double figures. That's a recipe for disaster. And they need to, I know their bread and butter is the 3-point shot, but they need to balance their offense. Taking that many threes because they really believe that they're just going to get hot like that, I'm telling you, they're not going to beat the Warriors. I'm telling you.
Chris Paul only took 9 shots. Now, these are major adjustments if the Rockets are going to continue because...
And Chris Paul has got to play smart, not play for the referee's whistle. Stop getting in the referee's face and focus on the game. Focus on the game and not the damn whistles.
What they did during the regular season, just like Milwaukee, sometimes that does not work in the postseason. If they don't have balance, I believe they go back home 0-2.
So during the regular season, they didn't have balance. During the regular season, they were...
I just said that, but that doesn't work in the playoffs. It didn't work in...
Nick doesn't pay attention. He just said that they didn't have balance, just like with the Bucks. The Bucks, in their case, they loaded up on Giannis, and guys really didn't make shots. I mean, the Bucks are a very good shooting team. It's just that Giannis, they took away his drives to the basket, and they had him actually in post-ups. That's why I said with Giannis, especially with Giannis's post-ups, he was posting up really far. So what they need to do with Giannis is Grudenholzer has to make coaching adjustments of his own. The Bucks obviously have to make shots from the other players, but Giannis has to put himself in much better position in the basket if he's going to get easy ones and play a much better game.
This game. Okay. But we'll see. The game will be played played tonight.
Well, listen,
Exactly.
if you are expecting the Rockets to come out, I feel like we had this exact conversation when the Rockets fell down against the Warriors last year. In fact, I know we did when they were down 1-0 and they're down 2-1. Too much ISO ball. Why are they playing this way? They play how they play. Like, and if that.
Well, Nick makes a good point. I mean, the Rockets have been known with the way they play. They play that ISO style heavy offense. I mean, and they believe in their heart that they could beat the Warriors with this style of play. And I think they're trying to change the paradigm. If they can win this series, go on to the NBA Finals, whoever they face in the Western Conference Finals, and, you know, beat whatever team out east with that style of play and win a championship, you know, then our team is going to now look at saying, hey, man, this ISO offense was able to beat the team that moves the ball more. And, you know, they were able to knock them off. So, you know, we'll see. But this is what they believe. I'm just saying that I don't think it's going to work. I don't think so. I think they need to share the ball. And Chris Paul needs to have the ball in his hands more and actually run the plays, because he's supposed to be the floor general. Why is James Harden constantly dominating the ball in the fourth quarter and Chris Paul's playing second fiddle? Shouldn't be that way.
Style can't beat the Warriors. Maybe it can't beat the Warriors.
Well, this is the big difference. They weren't playing against the Hampton Five.
Nope.
Steve Kerr showed you his hand.
He
They
did.
got the Hampton Five out there. Okay, well, let's pound them in the middle. Because for every
That's the Warriors' biggest weakness, interior defense. Attack the paint, and you're going to see the lanes open up, because then they'll be so focused in preventing easy baskets that the three-point shot is going to open up. But see, if the Rockets would realize that, they would take advantage of it, even though their floor is spread out for those threes.
move, there's a counter move. In the playoffs, there's a
Exactly. Good coaching is to be able to counter and make adjustments when they try to take one thing away. That's what the NBA is about in the playoffs. Matchups and making adjustments. See, if it's broke, don't fix it. But if you see it's a problem that they take away that's really hurting you, you try to find a ways to try to counter that.
adjustments. Every team makes them. I believe Houston will make some significant adjustments to be able to try to get the win in game number 2.
See, last year, until Iguodala went out with the injury,
And key points, the referees are going to make their adjustments as well. Oh, and just for a little quick news, Scott Foster, who James Harden criticized earlier in the season in February, is going to be refereeing in game 2. He had not refereed a game since February, which was in the game that one of the games that Harden played in, and he criticized Scott Foster and he got fined for it. So just, you know, keep an eye on that. If Harden's going to get the benefit, or Scott Foster's going to swallow his whistle. So pay attention to that for game 2.
they were absolutely playing against the Hampton Five. It was the same team, even if it wasn't the team, even if they didn't start the lineup in game 1 with the Hampton Five, they ultimately went to it. And the only plays at the rim the Rockets are going to have are James Harden drives and Clint Capella lobs. We are in agreement that Clint Capella should get more lobs.
And if I'm the Warriors, one defensive adjustment I would make is to play James Harden from behind with his step backs, because then what's gonna happen is it's actually gonna limit him from trying to try to draw those fouls and those whistles.
That in game 1, Harden was still, it seemed like, had the visions of Rudy Gobert in his mind. But if you are expecting tonight the Rockets to play a different style than they've played for 3 years, that's not what's going to happen. Now, do they need to be more efficient? Yes, they need to make more shots, but they're not going to change how they play. Like, we have 200 games.
Well, they don't really have to change how they play, but one adjustment they're going to have to make is they're going to have to score more inside by driving the ball more. They have to get Clint Capella and PJ Tucker involved, because they're not going to win just relying on Eric Gordon, Chris Paul, and James Harden, especially with the ball domination James Harden's had in the fourth quarter, because that's just a recipe for another Warriors victory if the Warriors take advantage of it. And if the Rockets force turnovers, because they had 14 steals in game 1, the Warriors had 20 turnovers and they did not take advantage of them.
Of information and multiple playoff series against the Warriors showing they're not going to change how they play.
What about the Warriors, CC? Do they start the same starting 5? Do you want to see any adjustments made from them, since that's a game they definitely could have lost?
I think the Warriors they realize that's their best lineup. And Steve Kerr said, I'm going to put them out there as many minutes as possible. The biggest difference now is Iggy seems a little bit healthier. He's playing great.
That's a big factor. Those are major facts he's speaking right there. Iggy was not healthy, and the series went 7. And I know Chris Paul wasn't either. But let's say Iggy was healthy. I'm telling you, people could say it's a possibility, but with Iguodala's IQ, his ability to play defense, and his ability to make plays on the floor, I'm telling you, the Warriors were going to beat the Rockets in 5.
Defense, and
Last year.
when they get the pick and rolls and the switches. He is great at the pick and roll on the defensive end. Draymond Green,
Exactly.
you talked about it, man. He lost 20 pounds since earlier in the season.
This is the best Draymond Green has looked all season, mind you, man. In the playoffs right now, Draymond Green has played like the Draymond Green we're used to. He's looked great so far.
See his initial quickness, his burst, how he's engaged in the game.
Correct.
Like, they are major difference makers for them.
That's
they don't
correct.
have much of a bench, so they can't get into foul trouble.
And this is why Kevin Durant is really more relied on than ever, because they don't have a bench. You take Kevin Durant off this team right now, the Warriors are not going to win a championship. You take Steph Curry off, they're not going to win a championship. It just tells you how each component is actually much more important than people realize, especially with the fact that they don't have depth, and also DeMarcus Cousins' quad injury. So you put that into perspective. They can't use inside. They can't score inside. So that's another key. So once again, this is Lewis with another one, man. Let me know what you guys think as always, man. I'll be back with another platform video with the first take in terms of the referees and what to prepare for game 2 from First Take. So bless up, one love, peace. Thanks for watching.